We are live. Welcome to the process. It is Friday, April 23rd. I am Josh Engleman, and I am here to break down today's 7-game NBA slate. And I honestly have a little interesting balance going on right now. I've got a ton of energy. I'm really excited to dive into this slate. I just assumed that today was going to be a 10 gamer or an 11 gamer because it was a Friday. But in all actuality, just 7 games. Perfect. The perfect way to ring in the final day of the work week. But as I mentioned yesterday, went to the trainer for the first time yesterday, and that was a humbling experience. Took a little bit of a beating. Was not at all ready for that. My entire body hurts. I feel like I have knives jabbed in every major joint, but I think that's going to be worth it in the long run. So I'm trying to look at the bright side. If I keep doing that, it'll get a little bit better every single day. And at some point in time, I won't even remember the feeling that I have today. So that's the plan in that regard. Yesterday was a weird one. The Spurs throwing some old school curveballs, ruling out DeJounte Murray and Patty Mills like 10 minutes before lock. And then DeMar DeRozan coming, 45 minutes after that, which was great. It ended up getting me to like 60-something% Derek White, but some of the mistakes that I already had in were unfortunately still in there, like Joel Embiid laying an absolute egg. I prioritized Embiid over Luka Doncic. That proved to be... I prioritized 2 of the 3 pay-up options. Joel Embiid and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Obviously, Giannis worked, but needed to prioritize Luka over Embiid. I mean, I don't regret it. Once Simmons went out, I had to go to Embiid. But I did end up with quite a bit of Andre Drummond, so I was able to at least salvage slightly. Pieces just weren't there. Kemba was good. Probably had a little bit too much Dwayne Bacon. Didn't expect the Pelicans to beat Orlando by 35 or whatever it ended up being. Was really just preferring to roster Terrence Ross. I wish he wouldn't have got ruled out. But you know what? It's fine. All right, let's take a peek at chat because we got a big crew here. 56 people out of the gate. 24 likes. Don't be afraid to hit that like button when you get in the door. It's the best part of this show, I promise. Let's see what we've got. Kevin Brunson, you have Chick-fil-A at 6:30 in the morning. Good for you. I'm a little jealous. Where's the guy that locked 150 Robert Franks? I don't know, but if it wasn't Dante Franks, it was, or if it wasn't Robert Franks, it was Dante Hall. Dante Hall ended up in Neil's winning lineup on FanDuel, which I'm sure we will be shouting out on the strategy show today in the Awesemo Hall of Fame because Neil picked up another W. So good for Neil. Unwound Cowboy, just pain leaving the body. Damn straight, man. Damn straight. Look, I was truly embarrassed yesterday. Trainer put me through a lot of different stuff to get an idea of where I'm at, and I am simply not the person that I thought that I was. I'm not the person that I have a memory of in my head any longer. And that was humbling, and truly, I was embarrassed that I did not have the athletic ability that I once had, and that I thought that I still I guess could pull out of me. But learning that is the first step. I'll be back on Monday to get worked back over again, and I assume it'll be just a little bit better. And that's sort of what this show is supposed to be. Look, you're not like, I didn't build this spreadsheet and my model and like the next day it was just print fest after print fest. Like this started in 2014. I mean, we're talking 7 years ago. Like that's a journey. And even then, like, cut it in half, take it to the beginning of 2018, and I'm making my own content on the side. I'm trying to put out, YouTube videos and projections on Reddit while working a regular job. And I hated that job. And Awesemo gets started and they put out a call to content and I'm able to join. I can send a YouTube video link in my playlist and say, look, this is what I've been doing. These are the numbers that I've been getting. Are you guys interested? And I couldn't have been happier to make that move a couple 3 years ago now, but basically like 3 years ago earlier this month. Uh, but even that guy at that moment was average at best at this. And just talking to Alex and then us bringing on Adam, bringing on everybody else then down the line, Steve and Sean's on, like talking to Tom, talking to Eddie, took me to the next level. So to me, the pain in my butt, in my hips, and my knees, and my back, and every other spot in my body right now is just me trying to build this spreadsheet the first time. The goal, I guess, is going to be where I'm at right now, this version of me. But that's neither here nor there. We have 7 games to break down. Good morning to everybody that is here. It's good to see everybody. I see some coffee cups early. I'm scrolling up, just trying to see who is here. Yeah, Ty, I agree. Cole Anthony, not great. Najee Marshall, not great. Mo Bamba was solid. I was a little nervous about Bamba. I didn't know how many minutes he could play. I really liked the idea of getting to the completely unowned, like Dante Halls and Robert Franks and stuff. Because if something went wrong for Bamba, I mean, he's never been like a minutes guy. If something went wrong for Bamba, somebody else was going to be playing those minutes and probably playing a lot of them at a flat minimum salary. So I did kind of like that idea. Warren Scott says he got stuck holding DeRozan. That's a bummer. DeRozan getting ruled out was the best part of it. So in the final 10 minutes, I have a mechanism set up in my sheet that I can just simply cut out lineups. So I type DeJounte Murray's name into a cell. I type Patty Mills' name into a cell. All of those lineups just sort to the bottom. So I just took what I had left and went forward. I wasn't super worried about bumping up any of the Spurs because I didn't really trust the situation to begin with. We've seen Pop in some of these situations just go to a longer bench and a flatter minute structure. So I was happy with whatever Derek White I had and whatever DeRozan I had. But the moment that they cut DeRozan, that changed for me because that changes the way that usage is going to get distributed. So I actually went back and then recrunched, and that was helpful. But got to keep the eye on that news, man. Never goes away. Never goes away. Okay, well, yeah, lots of Awesemo logos at the top. I was looking in Slack earlier. I know for sure that Neil won $50K on FanDuel because I'm in the tournament and I saw it when I woke up. So that I saw. So Neil pulls 100K either yesterday or 2 days ago, and then 50K here, both on DraftKings and FanDuel. So good for him. I saw a couple other screenshots of some of our guys at the top of some stuff. So kudos to everybody. That'll be something that we'll touch on the strategy show. But we got to dive into this. We got a lot to talk about. 7 games, 14 teams. I've probably gone on long enough to start this one. So yeah, Drummond was great. Drummond was my second most exposed center, or maybe third. Almost all of my center exposure went to Embiid, Bamba, and Drummond. So I was very happy with the amount of Drummond I had. It just so happens that instead of having Luka in some of those lineups, I was just in a very different spot, unfortunately. Anyway, cheers to you guys. Grab those coffee cups. Get your ciggies. Get whatever it is that you need. If you've got your Chick-fil-A, grab that. Whatever you need for this Friday. It's going to be a good day. I can feel it right now. So cheers to you guys. Rise and grind. That coffee is very necessary. Very, very necessary. Here we go. And I would be remiss to say, shout out to Monkey Knife Fight. 100% instant match deposit bonus up to $100. You deposit $100, you get $100. You can't take that free money, guys. I can't stress this enough. If you don't have, like, everybody wants to be Alex, and you got to start somewhere. And grinding on free money is the fastest way to do that. To get 100% return on your money with no risk, that's the best spot you're going to find. So go check that out. Let's break down these 7 games. Let's get some tunage going in the background. There you go, Bluegrass. Happy Friday, Tehran. First one's a doozy. Atlanta Hawks, no Trae Young. Bang. Clint Capella, questionable. Gallo, questionable. These guys have to be in to start, but we gotta gut this one all the way down because we don't have Trae Young, and we don't have Hunter, and we don't have Reddish, and we don't have Dunn, and we don't have Tony Snell, and this one is going to be a pretty important piece. So Brandon Goodwin, to me, is going to be the guy that benefits the most here, I would think. So we're going to give him 30. Lou Will as well. I just don't know how many minutes Lou Will can fall into. Played 28 and a half without Trae here. Played 25 here. So we'll see where we end up. Yeah, Cantor. I don't know if it's going to be Bogdanovich season the way that we wanted to, just because his price is probably already up, but I could be just talking out of my bum. I'm going to give Lou Will 26. I think that's sort of, and like more is probably reasonable, but I think that's going to be okay. I think we just have to assume that Clint Capella plays. And I think that John Collins, coming off of 21 minutes, 25 minutes, and basically 28 minutes, is going to be back to 30 minutes. So I'm going to go... Okongwu's going to get his 1 rotation. John Collins gets up to 30. And then we need to expand a little bit further. So Kevin Huerter, by all accounts, is just going to play monster minutes. And Bogdanovich, to me, is going to play 36 full minutes. Morning, Haywood. Happy Friday to you. Happy Friday to you, Velo, rather. Sorry. Eyes aren't working so far yet. I've only had 2 sips of coffee. Let's get a third one in there. Let's get started. God, that helps a ton. All right, so Solomon Hill playing pretty big minutes makes some sense, but at the same time, not too big. What can Gallo play? I mean, I guess it matters if he's in or not, but I don't think that he's going to come in. Look, he's been out for 6 games. He can't just come in and play monster run. So let's give him 22. I'm going to move 5 of those minutes. And I'm going to say that Solomon Hill plays 19. And now we need to start grabbing rates for the Hawks without Trae Young, which is not something that we get to do all that often. Can you imagine if the Hawks were playing someone that wasn't the Miami Heat today? Because this is one of the worst matchups they can get. So let's take Trae Young off. Miami for the division. I don't even know who's in their division, so that would be tough for me to look at, Dennis. I feel like they're too far out. Let's see what 538's got in here. Oh, maybe the Heat have a much better record than I thought they did. Yeah, I don't know the damn divisions. All right, what do we got going here for the Hawks? Which this is just going to be fun to see. So with no Trae Young on the floor, and unfortunately we have to just assume that Gallo is playing. But that's going to have a big time effect if he isn't playing. So we'll worry about that in a bit. John Collins in 261 minutes with no Trae Young on the floor has a 27% usage rate. I think that seems pretty reasonable. Clint Capella, I'm guessing, just stays where he is. Yeah. Bogdanovich, 404 minutes with no Trae Young on the floor, 23% usage rate. And no real bump elsewhere. Brandon Goodwin, 19% usage rate. And 7% assist rate, so nothing too crazy there. Kevin Huerter, 18.4% usage rate. Does he do ball handling? No. Lou Will, 211 minutes without him, 26% usage rate. So Lou Will just stays Lou Will. And then in the grand scheme of things, I got to project Gallo a little bit better. So let's do something like that. Because we're not going to play Okongwu. We're not going to play Solomon Hill. There's not nearly the amount of value that I was expecting here. It's honestly kind of a bummer. So for Atlanta, Kevin Huerter probably at the top of the heap for me on FanDuel. Like these guys are already expensive. Bogdanovich is already 7,500 on FanDuel. He's 7,800 on DraftKings. Brandon Goodwin for 3,400 to me is the clear best option coming out of here. Goodwin is already 5K on FanDuel. So FanDuel looks like they got out ahead of this one a little bit. I would say Goodwin is the best option. John Collins and Lou Will on DraftKings. Atlanta is much better on DK than they are on FanDuel. Like, I'm aggressively projecting John Collins, and I still don't know if he's that good of a play. Patrick, Theodore, Iceland, good morning, good morning, good morning. 112 viewers already at 648, 57 likes. For some reason, I feel like we got a lot more people in here than we normally do, but those likes are falling a little bit behind. So if you are here and you are not normally here, my ask from you guys, please hit that like button. It helps me out so much. My ego is soft and brittle, and the likes going up make me feel less sad. Best I can do. On to Boston, which I assume is just a gross mess that we can't project right now. No Kemba on the back-to-back. Jaylen Brown is questionable. Oof. Alrighty. So what do we know about Jaylen Brown's status? Josh, don't be a millennial. I'm 36. Mike Campbell knows what's up. I guess we have to... I can't assume that Jaylen Brown plays today. I just can't. I mean, he was ruled out early yesterday. To think that he's going to play on the back-to-back just seems not legitimate, but he could. I'm going to say we're getting no Kemba and we're getting no Jaylen Brown. 36 isn't a millennial, is it? What ages are millennials? Am I really a millennial? Ah, damn. I am a millennial, huh? I thought I was well, I guess I thought millennials were after me, and I thought that I was Gen Y. Damn. Yeah, I'm like, I'm a very core millennial, huh? I thought they were two separate things. Well, shit. I don't want to be a millennial, man. We give everybody a bad name. Whatever. Oh, we're taking it back. I'll revolutionize being a millennial. You just wait and see. All right, 36 minutes for Marcus Smart. 36 minutes for Jason Tatum. Tristan Thompson played 33 of the last game, played 33 the game before that. 31 works for me. We'll see Luke Cornett, who did not play. So they had to go to just Grant Williams at the 5. Well, I guess Jabari too. 16 for Jabari. I guess Cornett can get on the floor too if Kemba's not going to be there. And it's the Nets, so we give Cornett 10 minutes. We'll give Jabari 16. We'll give Grant Williams 22. We'll give Semi 20. Now we're getting into it. I can't believe I'm a millennial. I had no idea. Matthew, I could never be president. I would enact way too many policies that could never get through, and somebody would put me down. I'm quite sure of it. So Romeo Langford played 32 minutes yesterday without Jaylen Brown, but with Kemba Walker. So stands to reason he's going to do that again. Which means I only need Peyton Pritchard's minutes left. Let's do this. 25-11. Bang. Boston rotation done. However, I assume we are going to see some of these Boston rates changing as well. God, 653. I'm on what, the second team? Too much of a soliloquy to start. I seem bummed out? Not at all, man. I'm tired. My body hurts, but I'm in a very good mood. What do we got here? Oh yeah, no Brown. Jaylen Brown gonna get ruled in and play like 28 minutes and really ruin all of this value. We'll take Kemba off. I can only imagine what Jason Tatum's rate is here. Jason Tatum in 513 minutes with no Kemba, no Jaylen Brown on the floor. 35.8% usage rate. So everything looks good for me there. Marcus Smart. Does he take a jump? He gets to 20, so I can hold there. Everything else stays the same. Does anybody else soak up any major usage? Doesn't look like it. Peyton Pritchard, 18. Yeah, that works. Romeo Langford, 13. Okay. Tristan Thompson. Got to make sure we get him right. 18% usage. That feels aggressive. Go 17.5. There you go, Cantor. All right. Jabari, I guess his usage rate will be important. I think we could just kind of leave that where it is. Oh, he's not going to play anyway. Like, not enough. Peyton Pritchard, 19.5. All right, here's what we got for Boston here. Taking on Brooklyn. Obviously a good spot. Wow. Okay, lots to like here. Tristan Thompson and Jason Tatum are very high-end options for me today. 4,800 for Thompson on FanDuel, 4,900 on DraftKings. He's been a 1.1 fantasy point per minute guy with those guys off the floor. I've got him at just 1, which I think is pretty reasonable given his minutes. Tatum looks exceptional. I actually might have him slightly over projected, but at the same time, I don't really know how I would change it. Marcus Smart looks really good on both sites, 6,900 on both. I think you could probably make a case for Peyton Pritchard and Romeo Langford on DraftKings. Langford is the flat minimum 3K. So lots to like from Boston here against Brooklyn. Not surprised. Let's load up Brooklyn, and then we can keep it moving. Brooklyn Nets. What do we got out here? KD questionable. Is that like a legit questionable? Very possible he'd return either Friday or Saturday. Okay. I'm going to assume that KD plays. Obviously, Kyrie in. No Nick Claxton, though. Still out for health and safety. No Chioza. No Tyler Johnson. All right. So, Kyrie right out of the gate, 36 minutes. Bang. Done. That one's easy. Durant. I think 28 minutes feels about right. I think we get 22 out of DeAndre Jordan. I think we get, what, 20. So we got to split 46 minutes basically behind him and Jeff Green, and then maybe a little bit more to Jeff Green. Jeff Green, when KD is in, what is he normally playing? So he played 28 here. 18, 25, 21. So he's playing more like 24 minutes when KD is in, but I think KD is a little bit more limited. So let's say Blake plays 22, Jeff Green plays 26. Joe Harris gets 34. And then Landry Shamet, who's just playing monster minutes, pops in there. 26 for Bruce Brown. And while I should have more minutes for TLC, I simply don't. But he was seeing randomly low minutes, so he would be the guy that I would want to yank on out of there. Let's remove these rates. Let's get an idea of what this team looks like for no Harden and the rest of these guys. So Harden off, LeVert off, Dinwiddie off, Allen off, Prince off. Is that good? Are we good? Is that updated? Guess I could take Aldridge off as well. I just got to get Kyrie and Durant as the correct rates. I don't think we're going to be playing anything else here. Maybe Joe Harris. Kyrie, 30.5% usage rate. Perfect. Big time assist bump, though. So we do want to give him that. Durant in these scenarios, 31% usage. That works. I can't imagine his rates are all that different. Actually, 10% assist rate. Take it to 9. Landry Shamet actually does see a bit more usage. I don't think that that's going to be totally real, but I do want to give him the bump. And then Joe Harris, 18, all good. Don't really think that we're going to be looking at any of these other guys. There's not going to be enough time out there, so I'm not going to make any corrections. For Brooklyn, a little bit for Kyrie, 9,700 on FanDuel, 10-1 on DraftKings is going to be a bit of a tough sell against Boston, but maybe he'll get up for it. But 9,700 on FanDuel, needing to roster 2 point guards, I think that's fine. Shamet for 4,700 on DraftKings, but he stinks. Really hard to get to Brooklyn today. It's just not that kind of matchup. All right, so we can add everybody in now and take a look at where we stand. Atlanta, Boston, Brooklyn. And Atlanta, Boston, Brooklyn. So top plays so far. Why is my phone not on silent? Top plays on Brooklyn on the slate so far through 3 games. Tristan Thompson, Jason Tatum, clearly at the top of the heap for me so far on FanDuel. Marcus Smart, basically a step behind, and he is slightly ahead of Kyrie. On the DraftKings side, Tristan Thompson, Jason Tatum, Brandon Goodwin, and then we get to Marcus Smart. Charlotte Hornets. They getting anybody back today? Nope. So business as usual for the Charlotte Hornets. How many minutes did Vernon Carey play yesterday? Look at Vernon Carey go. 15 minutes. I was right. That makes me feel so good. I had him in for 16. He played 15. PJ Washington. What happened to PJ Washington? Did he get hurt? Stupid popcorn machine. I gotta guess this nonsense. Who the hell did they play yesterday? Charlotte played the Bulls. Wait, oh, I'm looking at the wrong day. I was looking for the 23rd. Man, I'm stupid. See, that's how you know. That's how you know. So PJ Washington played 13 minutes. Picked up 1 foul there. Oh, so PJ Washington just didn't play. How is that possible? That is incredible. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you go minus 13 in 13 minutes, but wow. Oh my God. This team, man. PJ Washington was a really good play on DK yesterday, and they just completely jerked him around. Unreal. Okay, so I'm comfortable with those Vernon Carey minutes. I guess I'm comfortable with those Cody Zeller minutes. I don't think that PJ Washington game is like going to be commonplace. Cody Martin, Caleb Martin, whatever. I guess this is all just fine right now. I don't really have anything that I want to change. All these rates are already where I want them to be. So for the Hornets, 1 point favorites at home, taking on the Cavs, but the lowest total on the slate, 209. So not a lot to like here. Terry Rozier best at the top of the heap. I think Devontae Graham would be second, but PJ Washington is in the sixes right now and has some minutes ambiguity. So just don't pay too much attention to the Charlotte Hornets. I don't have much to dig into. Cleveland Cavs. Cleveland Cavaliers. What do we got going? At least we have Larry Nance back. Or is he like out again? Cavs are at full strength. Wait. I didn't know Taurean Prince got hurt. That's sad. All right. We got Cleveland. 30 minutes for Jared Allen. How's that feel? That works. Hartenstein, 16 minutes. That works. Larry Nance played 22 in his return. Played 27, though, a couple days ago. I think we need to give him a couple more minutes, which is fine. Although I guess he's just going to have to play the 3 to do that, which is not ideal. Let's take him up to 24. God, why are they not playing Larry Nance more? God, what a mistake. What a mistake. Isaac Okoro, 31 is fine. Garland at 35. Colin Sexton at 35. Delly at 13. So who gets the bump? Who's soaking up these men? I guess Chetty probably just back into the rotation for nothing interesting. Yeah, I mean, look, this Charlotte-Cleveland game is terrible from a DFS perspective, and I don't really have anybody to recommend from it. You're not going to see much Charlotte and Cleveland at the top of this list. And just for reference sake, so I'll add them in since they're playing each other. The highest ranked guy is what? Devontae Graham here? No, Terry Rozier. And he's already like 10th. And he's like neutral here. There are no priorities. There are no priorities at all from Cleveland and Chicago. Try not to pay attention to that game all that much. Moving to Denver. Denver Nuggies on the road against Golden State. I have a sneaky suspicion that Nikola Jokic is going to blow off the page here. Wowie zowie. This pace up spot is going to be nice. Team Jokic today. All right, 35 minutes for Jokic. We got 13 from Millsap. I've got 12 minutes in for Shaq Harrison. That seems to be what he's playing. Austin Rivers played 14. Campazzo played 28. All of that looks good. Will Barton at 34. Perfect. Michael Porter Jr., 34. I'm going to take 2 minutes away from him and go to JaMychal Green, so I stop getting 97% Michael Porter every night. 28 for Aaron Gordon. Good. This rotation is set. These rates are set. Let's watch this one happen. Yep. Wow. Okay. Yeah, we've got Nikola Jokic projected through the roof. And I think that that's viable, but let's just, since Murray's been out for a couple games now, we're getting a bigger sample. Let's take Murray off. And let's take Monty Morris off. And let's just remember what Jokic becomes. Nikola Jokic in 292 minutes with no Murray, no Morris just this season. 38% usage, 10.8% assists, 11.2 rebounds. I guess I probably need to walk that assist rate back just a little bit. So I'm going to take that back down to 11. That goes up to 4.5. That can stay at 12 because I think the rebounds are going to be there in this spot. Will Barton is at 22% usage. I'm going to bump him up to 21. Michael Porter Jr., I'm going to bump down to 22. The rest of this all looks pretty good to me. Yeah, it's Jokic season. Jerry, I'm not doing any baseball until basketball's over. Nikola Jokic, top of the heap by quite a bit for me. I assume he's just going to be my number one guy throughout the day, particularly on DK at 10-9. Elijah, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. Will Barton for 5,500 on DraftKings looks fantastic. Still willing to get to Porter at that price tag. There's value in Dozier and Gordon, but just for the visual, just so you guys can see it, I added the wrong team. Dallas, Denver. There we go. Dallas, Denver. Got it. Nikola Jokic is at the top of the pyramid, particularly on DraftKings, where he is he's 4 points clear of everyone else relative to salary. Get yourself some Nikola Jokic against Golden State, people. And now we look at Golden State. These teams are just playing everybody in order. I love it. Makes it a lot easier to look at. Golden State. Still no Wiseman, no Damian Lee, no Pascal. Q tag on Juan Toscano Anderson. So we're just going to assume that he is back. So let's hash this out. Let's do this. And that. Uh, 30 and 6. All right, most of this is figuring itself out. We're going to get 8 stocks again. Alan, that is awesome. First, second, and third in the NHL Piggy Bank. 24,000 entries. Alan, do you have the Awesemo avatar on DK or FanDuel or whatever it is? And if you do and you haven't won a free month yet, you should email our support team or follow the instructions at the Rock the Avatar page on Awesemo. You get a free month for that. You'll be on the Hall of Fame, man. I mean, isn't Looney gonna have to play that much time? Yeah, Alan, if you haven't done it, get yourself your free month, man. 34 minutes for Dre. Oubre is just playing monster minutes again, so I'm going to assume that Kelly Oubre goes back to playing monster minutes again. I guess I got to give Bazemore just a couple more. That's 28. So I'm missing one guy in this rotation. It's Juan Toscano Anderson. So who... Was Juan Toscano Anderson just playing because Kelly Oubre was out? Probably. Hey, a win's a win, man. I think we're going to be maybe liking Kelly Oubre today. Maybe not. I thought that Golden State was going to pop a little bit more here, but it doesn't seem like they totally are. Yeah, Curry, 10K on FanDuel. 10-3 on DraftKings. Certainly a guy that we're going to be wanting to get to. I think Kelly Oubre on DraftKings at 5,800 is going to look pretty nice. Well, I'm anxious to see where he shows up throughout the day. Wiggins for 6,600 on DraftKings. I'm happy to get there. Wiggins is an interesting guy, man. I think that he's getting a lot of flack this year. I'm not even backing this up with impact metrics, so I guess I should. But I feel like people judge Wiggins based on his contract and not what he actually does on the floor. Where is Wig? Is he having a bad year? No, not at all. Yeah, Wiggins gets a little bit too much flack, man. When he gets off of this contract, he's still going to get $15 million a year. I think we have to assume that Oubre starts to get himself back into that starting lineup sooner rather than later now that he's back. Maybe I'll nerf him a little bit and go to 32 minutes. That feels a little bit better. But either way, Curry, Wiggins, Oubre, Green. We know who we're looking at for Golden State. To Houston we go. A team that I'm honestly tired of projecting. It's just not great. But I guess at least there's no Kevin Porter for this one, so we can make a bigger push. And I guess Daniel House is back. So I got to start this entire rotation from scratch. Everybody that's normally out is out. House back, Porter out. So, John Wall. Last 3 games have all been 30 minutes. I'm going to go 32 because I think that there's a little bit more in there if the game actually is competitive. Oh, shit. They play the Clippers. I'm sure it won't be competitive. We'll go 32 to Christian Wood. And then that allows me to go Kelly Olynyk, 32. DJ Wilson just kind of plays 12 a night. Kenyon Martin played 29 without Porter. That shouldn't be the way that goes. I'm going to just stick him at 20 like he normally is. 16 minutes for what I assume to be Avery Bradley here. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter. 16 for Bradley and another 6 gets him to 22. Armani Brooks got that start. No reason to suspect that doesn't continue. So I'm going to give him 30. Jayshawn Tate obviously just gets his normal 30-something. So that leaves me 27 minutes for... No. Oh, Daniel House. Yeah, Jesus. How do I even get Daniel House those minutes? Jayshawn Tate can't play the 2, and that's the only spot that they have run here. I don't have free minutes for Daniel House. So who's gonna... These guys are all... They're short guards, I think. Like, I mean, I guess Daniel House is just technically the 3, but even still, like, Jayshawn Tate is already playing out of position. Everybody's playing out of position. I think we're going to see somebody, like, leave the rotation, and we're going to see more minutes from one of these smaller guys, but I don't know. Who's going to get that time? Like, they don't have any natural guards right now. Like, it just doesn't exist for this team. I mean, I guess they're just going to have people playing out of position. That's just going to have to work. These rates should be the rates that are good for Houston, but at this point in time, I have no idea what's going on for this team any longer, so... Jerry, there isn't really a free agent of the summer. The free agency is going to be kind of boring. Trades might happen, but the free agent pool is bleak. All right, so Tucker, Harden, Oladipo. No, Tucker can stay on, actually. Harden, Oladipo. Who the hell else am I missing? Gordon has to come off. Probably Boogie as well. So Wall at 34% usage makes sense. That's basically where he's been. God, they've played so many guys. Usage rate seems fine. Olynyk, good. Jayshawn Tate, good. Christian Wood, good. Armani Brooks, 138 minutes, 17% usage rate. So I'll leave him in at 18-3. I think that's fine. Houston against the Clippers. We're not going to be getting a lot here. Oh, God, we are actually. Okay. So Armani Brooks is 3,600 on DraftKings. I have him projected for 32 minutes, and I actually think that he can play more given the makeup of their team right now. So to me, he looks like a really nice value play. Probably going to be a high-end contender. He's 4,200 on FanDuel, so not nearly the same play, but definitely a value. And I only have him at 0.78 fantasy points per minute, so nothing crazy. Hi, Jaden Smart. Kelly Olynyk is 5,200 on FanDuel. He's $1,600 cheaper there than he is on DraftKings. Kelly Olynyk to me is the best Houston FanDuel play. And then John Wall is just sort of John Wall. Same for Christian Wood. Wall for 7,500 though on DraftKings, I think, is probably going a little underrepresented. I like Houston more than I thought I was going to, and that's not comfortable for me. 6 to go. On to the Clippers. It's every team's just playing the team that's next to them in the list. This is incredible. 147 viewers, 95 likes. Guys, you want to hit that like button, run us up over 100 quickly. If you are here and you enjoy this show, if you're getting anything out of it, please hit that like button. Let's get us into triple digits. Hello, Nate Campbell. Morning, Ken. Morning, Courtney. All right, what do we got for the Clips? No Bev, no Kawhi, no Ibaka, Paul George in, Reggie Jackson in, Rondo questionable. I'll believe it all when I see it. But this should be pretty easy to handle. Reggie Jackson. 28 minutes, I'm guessing. Yeah, that works. 28 minutes for Reggie Jackson. Rondo gets the backup run. Ivica Zubac, 28 minutes. That works. Backup center run. Let's say he gets 12. Pat gets 4. Marcus Morris plays 30. Nick Batum plays 28. Then we got PG playing, 34, maybe more, depending on what we got left. Luke Kennard will be the interesting piece. So the last time that they had everybody in, oh, man. So Paul George in, that would be Kawhi out. All right, so that would be the rotation. Kennard played 18 minutes. Terrence Mann played 24. That would be 42. So that's going to be close. Previous to that, it was Kennard and Mann playing a little bit less. So I'm going to give Terrence Mann 24. I'm going to give Luke Kennard 24, 23, 35 to Paul George. And there we go. 100 likes. Appreciate you guys. Got to grab these clips. The problem with today's show is we're having to grab rates on rates on rates. So Kawhi off, Bev off, Ibaka off, Lou off. 7:21 already. I mean, I guess we're moving pretty good. It is a 7-game slate. I shouldn't overreact. Paul George in 271 minutes with no Kawhi, Bev, Ibaka, Lou Will, 37% usage rate. That'll work. 6.7% assist rate is fine, and he gets a bit of a rebounding bump. So there we go. The rest of the guys that we need to look at are probably pretty tame. Ivica Zubac, I can't imagine is doing all that much different of work. Lock him into 16. Marcus Morris will get the bump. 23.8% usage with those guys off the floor. Not really changing his rates at all, but we do need to give him a little bit more run. Rondo, I'm guessing, just stays the same. Yep. Reggie Jackson gets a little bit of a bump. Luke Kennard gets a little bit of a bump. Nick Batum doesn't. Finally, Terrence Mann, 17. It's looking like it's going to be Paul George and not much else. Paul George, 9,400 on FanDuel, 9,300 on DraftKings. An overwhelmingly positive play today. Got to be going to Paul George. Not too much else coming from the Clippers that I think is super viable. So let's add in Warriors, Houston, and the Clippers. Warriors, Houston, Clippers. And as we stand now, Nikola Jokic is still at the top of the heap on FanDuel, but he is in basically the same tier as Tristan Thompson and Jason Tatum. Paul George and Kelly Olynyk are in basically tier 2 on FanDuel. On DraftKings, Jokic is at the top by himself. Armani Brooks and Paul George, relative to salary, are basically the same play today. You're going to want to get to that combination quite a bit. Tristan Thompson, Jason Tatum, and Brandon Goodwin would be the next 3 guys up on DraftKings. 5 to go, Memphis Grizzlies. And if we cross our fingers, maybe this team just looks like they normally do, and I don't have anything to do. Joval out, Jaren Jackson in, Winslow in. So this should be pretty close to what they just ran out. We've got Tillman for 26 minutes. I actually think that could go a little bit higher. We're going to go 27 and 21. Jaren Jackson Jr. played 18 minutes, so I think 20 is fine here. We've got Slow-Mo in for 28, and I think I want to hold that. Justice Winslow at 16. Ja Morant at 34. I'm going to make 33. Melton at 20 seems okay, but probably need to make it 18. I've got Desmond Bane with probably too many minutes. Honestly, like, these guys are just going to rotate through whatever the hot hand is. So the only guy that we're really going to be looking at here is probably Morant. And even then, $7,200 Morant is probably the guy on DraftKings that we want to look at. No Joval. I think that matters. But nothing too crazy coming out of Memphis. Memphis on the road against Portland. We'll add them in a bit. All right, Miami. Miami Heat. No Oladipo, obviously. Q tag on Tyler Hero, assuming he's in. Iggy in. Gabe Vincent in. So essentially full strength Miami minus Oladipo, and that's probably better for them anyway. Bam's minutes look fine. Deadman's minutes look fine. Goran Dragic seems fine at 26. Who the hell knows? Kendrick Nunn, honestly, could probably use a bit of a bump. Let's take those minutes away from KZ Okpala. Actually, probably shouldn't take those minutes away from KZ Okpala. But I do kind of need to give Kendrick Nunn a little bit more run. Butler's good. Robinson's good. Trevor Ariza is good. And Tyler Hero is good. And we'll give KZ Okpala the final 16. Oh, actually, Iggy's back. That makes sense. Iggy gets that run. Andres, I appreciate the kind words. I agree with you completely. All right, we're not really playing Miami here, and that's not really much of a surprise. Heat taking on the Hawks, really low total. These guys were all priced largely up. No positive numbers here at all. Super low boom scores. I'm not even going to dig in. Miami is not really on the table. Oklahoma City sure as hell will be, though. Opa, here we go. All right, Lou Dort questionable, which is great. Pogo stick in. No Hall, no Deck, no Muscala. So for right now, these guys are fully healthy minus Shea. So let's delete all these rates because we're going to have to figure this one out. Matthew, I take midday naps semi-regularly. 28 for Maladon. We're going to go to, 20 for Moses Brown? Yeah. And 16 for Bradley. We get Roby in there. Baisley's going to continue to play big minutes, so I'm going to give him 34. I do think, I think Roby is more likely to get a bit more run, so I'm going to give him 26. We'll see if that's actually feasible. Backup point guard run will be Ty Jerome. And then we'll get Svi at 20, I think. That's sort of where he was in those 2 games where Dort was back. We're going to need to give Dort and Pogo Stick. So I got to split minutes between Pogo Stick, Dort, and Kenrich Williams. Someone's going to take less than they should here. So let's give 28 minutes to Pogo Stick. I'm going to give these 28 minutes to Dort. But I need to get him to 30. That takes me to 18 on Kenrich, which isn't enough. So I'll take him to 20, and I will take 2 more minutes off of Roby. Now, Kenrich just gets the minutes here, guys. I think where I'm at right now feels pretty good. Now we got to grab these Oklahoma City rates. No Horford, no Shea. That should cover me. Right? No. Wild. All right, so first guy we're going to start with is Dort, because we know how big of a usage bump Dort takes in these scenarios. Dort in 261 minutes with no Al Horford and no Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Lou Dort with a 29% usage rate. So I'm going to put it at 28 because I feel like I have to. It doesn't do much else, but I don't really see a way around it. Pogo Stick stays the same. Darius Bazley, 25% usage rate in this scenario. I'm going to take him to 24. Isaiah Roby gets to 19. We'll go 18.5. Moses Brown isn't really going to matter. He'll stay at 18. Teo Maledon does matter. 21% usage rate for Maledon. No real change to assist rate. Kenrich Williams, 16% usage rate. Good. Svi stays at 18.5. Tony Bradley is probably going to be the least important piece of this for me. Where's he hiding? 19. Ty Jerome, 19. Do I have any spillover minutes on anybody? I don't. I'm just going to let Tony Bradley eat that chunk. All right, here we go. Oklahoma City. This one's going to be important. Thunder are at home taking on the Washington Wizards. We all know what that means. This is a massive pace up spot for Oklahoma City. The line in this game is 9. So, FanDuel, $5,700 Lou Dort is at the top of the heap for me. $6,400 Darius Bazley is at the top of the heap on DraftKings by quite a bit, I might add. Bazley's been a 0.9 fantasy DraftKings point per minute guy with those guys off the floor. I probably have him a little bit higher than I should, but I think I'm okay with it. I am going to take 1 minute away from him, go to 33 since they do appear to be at full strength. But Dort for $5,700 on FanDuel, that's a price tag you got to be paying attention to. He's been a 1.11 FanDuel point per minute guy in that time. I have him at 1.02, so I'm not even going to the crazy peak that he's been at. Roby in 24 minutes at 4K on FanDuel is interesting. Pogo Stick for $4,800 is interesting on FanDuel. Bazley for $6,700 is still in play. Maledon looks solid. There's a lot to like for Oklahoma City, unfortunately. Not fun, but it is what it is. Memphis, Miami, OKC. Let's see how these guys all rank, relatively speaking. Memphis, Miami, OKC. Oh, we've been going for an hour. Time flies when you're having fun. So Dort is here in this Paul George, Kelly Olynyk, Dort trio. They are in tier 2 on FanDuel. Jokic, Thompson, Tatum at the top. If we go to DraftKings, Bazley is here with like John Wall, sort of in his own tier, firmly behind this group of 6. But lots and lots of filler here for Oklahoma City. Look, Washington just makes everything a good matchup. And I'm guessing that Westbrook and Beal are going to be popping heavily. I don't know what Beal's price is going to be on FanDuel, but I'm guessing it's going to be very important. Portland. Everybody that could be in is in. Q tag on Derek Jones Jr., which isn't all that relevant. So Portland shouldn't take much of a change. Nurkic got up to 29 minutes 2 days ago. That is very relevant information because I think Yusuf Nurkic is about to be one of the best plays on the slate. Nurkic against whoever it is for Memphis, not like the fact that it's not Joval is very important. 36 minutes for Dame, 36 minutes for CJ. That works for me. Norm Powell at 34 minutes. So I do want to take 2 minutes away from him. What else we got here? All right, so I think everybody else is fine. We need to confirm Yusuf Nurkic's usage rate for this team this year. If it is 21%, we are going to be getting an absolute ton of Yusuf Nurkic on FanDuel. Like, crazy amount. Nurk in 523 minutes, 20.8% usage. So I'm fine leaving him exactly where he is. Is he rebounding differently? No, he's not. Okay. Wow, this is going to get aggressive. Let's take Trent off. I think that's important. I assume that brings Dame down just a hair. Yeah, it does. And CJ quite a bit. 27, 30. I think all of that looks fine. Norm Powell. Good. Okay, I'm going to take 1 percentage point off a Nurk there. Just for safety's sake. All right, here we go. I'm excited to see this. Portland. Yusuf Nurkic is 5,800 on FanDuel, 5,200 on DraftKings. He is going to be a top 3 play today on both sites if he can play 29 minutes. He is wildly underpriced for his actual skill set. Love getting to Nurk. Dame, 8,700 on FanDuel, 9,500 on DraftKings. Pretty clearly the second best play. A clear top 10 play across both sites. CJ for 7,800 on FanDuel looks really good for having to roster 2 guys at each position. Even 8,600 on DraftKings isn't a problem, nor is Norm Powell's price. I just want to see where these guys show up on the full list now. I think it's very important to get the context even before we go to Washington. Because we've got Nurkic and Jokic literally basically tied at the top. I think you can go to either direction and be very, very happy on FanDuel. Top 3 plays on FanDuel are all centers to me. So I would, if slate locked right now, I would have all of my exposure basically in those 3 guys because they are on a very different tier. Look how, like, at center, Olynyk is sort of there, and then everybody else is like 7 points away from everybody else. So got to get these guys. Nurkic, about a point behind Jokic, but that doesn't matter. You could roster them both. Lillard is 5th overall on FanDuel as well, just shy of that same top tier. Lillard looking really good here as well. CJ is 13th, but I feel like shooting guard was pretty thin. No, it's actually deeper than I thought. So CJ looks good, but could get slept on a little bit with Smart, Brooks, and Paul George. Andres, no, Cantor doesn't scare me at all. They want, for them to be anything good, Yusuf Nurkic needs to play 30 minutes a game. Yusuf Nurkic is really good. It's just easy to be forgotten because of him breaking his leg and being out for so long, and then the bubble. Nurk is legit. He's the only chance they have to make their team defense good. Closing it out, Washington Wizards. Obviously, no Denny Avdia. Look, that looked terrible. And then I saw the report yesterday that it was like a hairline fracture. I thought his foot was hanging off for a second. So I don't know how that works. Still no Rui either. So there's going to be some minutes to go around here for this Washington Wizards team taking on Oklahoma City. Great matchup for the Wiz. This should be a really fast-paced game. Daniel Gafford got to 20 minutes. I think that I'm going to have to do that. Len went down to 13. Robin Lopez went down to 10. So I'm going to give Gafford 21. Bertans is going to have to play a little bit more, so I'm getting him to 30. Russ, I'm going to give 38. Oklahoma City type stuff. We'll see. I'm going to delete Ish and Garrison Matthews. I think that Beal is just going to have to be a straight 3 now. So there's 36. We'll give Ish Smith playing 22. Neto played 36 minutes, continues to start. I'm going to go to 28. Garrison Matthews can play 16. And then Bonga, I guess, right? It's just going to be Bonga. Shark, man, you have no idea what you're looking at, do you? Literally none. I got to give you a lesson here, man. The reason that Nurkic hasn't gone over 30 DK points in his last 12 games is because Yusuf Nurkic has not been playing his full allotment of minutes. And it appears that Yusuf Nurkic is now available to play starter minutes. If you don't think that Yusuf Nurkic can get to 30 fantasy points playing starter minutes, you got to start over, brother. You're not looking at those numbers correctly. You can't just look at raw fantasy point totals. That kind of information is totally useless. That's just going to leave you behind the 8 ball. You'll start playing these guys once they're priced appropriately. What are we doing with this Wizards team? King Hope, he did the last game. He played 29 minutes on the 21st, second half of the back-to-back. Their goal is to play him those minutes. Like, foul trouble, no foul trouble, it doesn't matter. Knowing that Yusuf Nurkic can play 29 minutes a game is huge. Like, you're talking about Nurk going for 30 plus at a mid-tier price tag because he only played 24 minutes a game before this. I mean, he just hasn't been healthy or ready. Like, they're... Yeah, legitimately, like, that's the same way that I feel. I only needed to see it once as well. The moment that they're going to unleash him for 29 minutes is the moment that you know that Yusuf Nurkic is going to play 29 minutes. They don't want Enes Kanter to be their center. They want Yusuf Nurkic to be that guy. Like, Nurkic should be playing 30 minutes a game, every single game, the moment that he can. Closing out the Wiz, Russ, 11K and 11K on both sites is a very high-end play today. Definitely preferred pay-up options. Neto, Bradley Beal. They got Beal up to 9K on FanDuel now. No, like if Nurkic is playing 30 minutes a game, he's going to be 7K soon. Beal's price is up, but Neto starting at 3,600 on FanDuel, 3,400 on DraftKings. That's some value. All right, slate done. So we've got Jokic, Nurkic, Thompson at the top on FanDuel. They won't show up like that in the power rankings because there's only one center, but I do like all three of those guys. Russ and Jokic are the pay-up combo. Curry's not going to be anywhere near it. Jokic and Russ, again, on DK, although Jason Tatum is pretty close to Russ, which makes me a little nervous. Let's run some crunches. Hit that like button if you want to see it. 180 viewers, too. We're closing out this Friday strong, man. This is exciting. And, like, Nurk being back for the Blazers is great for the league. If Portland's better, that's just more interesting. All right. FanDuel optimal lineup, starting it off. I have no idea what this is going to look like. Center could be anybody. Obviously, we know a couple of these guys are going to be at the top here. All right. Optimal lineup on FanDuel. Damian Lillard, Neto, Paul George, Marcus Smart, Michael Porter Jr., Dort, Jason Tatum, Isaiah Roby, Tristan Thompson. You can give up 0.2 of a point. Swap Michael Porter Jr. for Kyle Anderson and Tristan Thompson for Yusuf Nurkic. I like it. I do think that I have Kyle Anderson maybe slightly over projected, but we'll see. Let's look at the power rankings for FanDuel now. We'll see how much center really matters here. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Look at that at the top. That is telling you what that position looks like right now. As of right now, the top of the power rankings on FanDuel go to Lou Dort. That's exciting. Lou Dort at the top of the heap. Jason Tatum, Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Yusuf Nurkic, Neto, Roby, Slow-Mo, Beal, Tristan Thompson, Armani Brooks, Jimmy Butler. I think I hit every name there. Norm Powell is going to be pretty highly ranked. But it looks like Nurkic is going to be the easier center to get to. Jokic, while he grades out really well, there are so... This is the perfect way to describe it. You can see it in these exposures. Nurkic is slipping through a little bit further because I think he's a little bit more cost efficient. But Nurkic, Thompson, Jokic, Olynyk, like we looked before, getting pretty much all of the center exposure. And I think that's the interesting way to look at it. The reason that Lou Dort is separating from the pack just a little bit, if we want to look at it, this is what small forward looks like today on FanDuel. Lou Dort is almost 4 points clear of everybody else. Now, he's a good play, but if we look at Lou Dort compared to everybody else, like Lou Dort is 9th overall, but the gap between Lou Dort and the next small forward is like 25 people. So Dort gets pushed up by himself just because of the low value of everybody else here. So just looking at it right now, like he's just on a completely different tier. Not like a lock button type tier, but he's definitely like the clear priority. What am I doing here? He's definitely the clear priority at small forward as of right now. Matthew, I'm going to read this question out loud. Apologies for what the answer is going to be. What's your best piece of advice for running crunches for the guy just getting off work and trying to get lineups in on the drive home through rush hour traffic? The answer is don't play. Like, don't play. Now, if you are trying to make like one lineup and you're just looking to have some fun, very different scenario. Obviously, don't crunch and drive. I don't want you to die. If you're trying to play a lot of lineups, I don't have a recommendation for you. That just seems like something that's going to be impossible. If you're trying to play one lineup and you have Fantasy Cruncher with Awesemo, I would take a look at what our optimal is. And if there's one or two guys in that optimal that you don't like, swap them out for something else. Don't deviate all that much from the optimal. You shouldn't have to put in too much work to put in one individual lineup. That should be pretty easy. But if you're playing a lot of lineups, just like pull over, man. All right, let's finish off DraftKings now, and then we'll get out of here. I don't want to end the stream because I want to keep doing this show. We're going to be off for 2 days. DK Optimals. This one's going to be wild just for the amount of value that exists. Sean, leverage on the big board is just simply the optimal lineup percentage minus the ownership. So the more optimal and less owned you are, the better sort of play you are in a GPP. The dumbed down version of it. I don't mean that for you. I just mean like the one sentence version. I could do this show on Sunday, but I would rather sleep. All right. Optimal lineup on DraftKings. Brandon Goodwin, Paul George, Romeo Langford, Jason Tatum, Yusuf Nurkic, Armani Brooks, Davis Bertans, Nikola Jokic. Now, I will say this. I'm nervous about Jason Tatum's health. I know that he's on kind of a bum ankle. He's 6 for 34 over the past 2 games since he was put on the injury report with an ankle impingement. I don't know how much that's actually affecting him, but that shooting is putrid. He's going to get those shots again. Maybe that's just poor shooting and we're looking into it. I'm not going to make any changes for it, but I just want people to be aware, like, he could be hurt. I will not make an adjustment for it because if Jaylen Brown is in, it'll make it a lot easier to like walk back a little bit of Jason Tatum. But if Jaylen Brown's still out, Tatum's going to take a lot of shots. I'm just going to hope that they start to fall. I'm surprised that this lineup is 0.9 of a point higher, but Jokic and Tatum looking like the preferred pay-up options here, along with Paul George, and then you're just paying down to the dumpster. Power rankings on DraftKings before we put this Friday process show to bed. Cheers, everybody. It's been a good show. We have a ton of viewership today. I don't know why it's happening, but maybe you guys are getting the word out. I appreciate it. This makes me happy. It makes me very happy. Well, at least the top guy. And then it gets ugly. Yusuf Nurkic at the top of the power rankings on DraftKings. Armani Brooks, Brandon Goodwin, Tristan Thompson, Jason Tatum, Nikola Jokic, Paul George, Neto, Will Barton, Darius Baisley, Marcus Smart, Davis Bertans, Romeo Langford, Ja Morant, Russ, all showing up near the bottom of the list. Just for hoops and ha-has. Where was Nurkic? Okay, he was 2. Yeah. Nurkic just makes it like, that's just such a good price. That's such a good price. Yeah, that's going to be a good time. If his minutes are there, man, that's going to be great. Alrighty, that's where we're at. We done, yo. We done. We made it through another work week. Fun stuff. So, contenders videos will be out immediately after this. Strategy show with me and Laffy, breaking down all 7 games, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Come check that out. I am not on live before lock. I will have updates to the sim results later on towards lock. And then it's just a casual weekend. So I got to do 2 contenders videos and a strategy show. And then I could stop talking at least for a little bit. Game on. That's not the optimal. This is all randomized. The optimal is significantly less. That should load pretty quickly, right? The optimal is 289. Justo, yeah, that's exactly what you should do. Build around the guys at the top of the power rankings. Friday, do the contenders videos live on the stream. I probably could. I would have to run the Sims, though. It would take a little bit to run the Sims. That's something we could think about. We'll see. I'll have no content coming out tomorrow. Fully off. I'm going to watch Liverpool in the morning. Going to watch some MMA at night. Going to go eat some sort of like really good cheeseburger that I've had recommended for me. So I want to go check that out. Then Sunday I'll be back. I think I'm back with Rinpack for the strategy show on Sunday morning, but I'm not entirely sure. But I will be back Sunday morning for the strategy show. And I will be back Monday morning for this one. So, guys, thank you very much for being here. Please hit the like button on your way out the door. Ben Pete, thank you so much for the super chat. It said, had the best night of the year yesterday using the tools I've learned from you and the rest of the crew. Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you. Happy to see your success. That is really exciting to see. Love knowing that people are getting at least a little bit out of this. That's why I do it. And it's super fun, honestly. But that's it. I'm done. I got nothing left to say. Appreciate you guys. Like button, subscribe, notification bell. Shout out to not No House Advantage. Shout out to Monkey Knife Fight. I'm the worst. Later, guys. King Hope, if you can still hear me. Usman.